On December 20th, 2004, after years of continuous part-time development, the freeware independent video game Cave Story was released for the PC. The brainchild of Japanese one-man dev team Daisuke Amaya, Cave Story is a 2D run-and-gun action platformer that draws influence from earlier 16-bit titles like Super Metroid. An immediate smash hit with critics and players alike, the game was met with resounding praise for the timeless quality it shares with classic Nintendo games. Cave Story takes place inside a floating island as you, the protagonist, must save the Mamiga race from the Doctor and his servants. The game featured simple graphics and gameplay, with emphasis on story and a soundtrack still cherished today. Cave Story was a labor of love from start to finish. Developed over a period of 5 years starting with the composition of the title theme, Amaya was only ever able to work on the game in his spare time due to family, personal, and work obligations. In a 2005 interview with Derek Yu of TigSource, Amaya confessed that although he used to play an inordinate amount of games, he wasn't too familiar with the state of the gaming industry at the time, citing the temporal investment of game development as a major reason for his inability to find any time for playing modern games. Amaya initially expressed hesitation about releasing Cave Story commercially on a modern console. Preferring to work on solo projects, he was concerned that his artistic expression would be limited by the necessity of collaborating with others. When asked what kind of game he'd make if given an unlimited budget and resources, Amaya wasn't able to give a concrete answer. His design philosophy states that a game developer should try to, quote, think within limitations, an attitude reflected in Cave Story's simplistic art and music assets. Despite Amaya's original reluctance, Cave Story was one of the first of several popular indie titles to see new life, courtesy of indie development studio Nicalis, and not one, but 2 concurrent commercial re-releases in November 2011. The first was Cave Story Plus, a PC remaster which integrated all the improvements made in previous ports and added exclusive content, including a new level, a remastered soundtrack, and an official English translation. The second was Cave Story 3D, published by Nipponichi Software as a boxed retail title for the Nintendo 3DS. Amaya actually quit his job as a software developer to become the game's director, as the entire engine had to be rebuilt from scratch, and the transition from 2D to 3D was difficult without his input. Working full-time on Cave Story allowed Amaya to give his game a level of polish that the original version's protracted development cycle hadn't previously allowed. In a second interview with You in 2009 regarding the development of the Wii port, Amaya explained that he felt comfortable letting Nicalis work on Cave Story because the company's founder, Tyrone Rodriguez, expressed a passion for Cave Story that surpassed his own. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode, but come back next time and we'll see you again on another day in gaming history. I'm ChaseFace, the guy who's been reading the script. If you're curious about my other work, feel free to click the annotation to check out my channel, where I do anime and game reviews, podcasts, and longitudinal analysis videos about classic game series that have either stood the test of time or crumbled throughout the ages.